It was 11:47 p.m. when Ali finally left the office. The building was silent, everyone had gone home hours ago. Only the faint buzzing of fluorescent lights echoed through the empty hallways. Ali worked as a security supervisor in a 15-story office building. He had worked there for nearly 3 years and knew every corner of the place. Or at least he thought he did. That night, he locked the final office and headed toward the elevator. The digital display showed 15. The elevator arrived with a ding. The doors slid open. Ali stepped inside and pressed the button for the ground floor. The doors closed. The elevator began descending. 15, 14. Then suddenly, the elevator stopped. The lights flickered. The display changed. Instead of showing floor 13, it displayed something strange. 13. Ali frowned. There wasn't a 13th floor. The building skipped directly from 14 to 12. At least that was what the building plans showed. The elevator doors slowly opened. Beyond them was a dim hallway. A hallway that shouldn't exist. Ali stared. The corridor was long and dark. Old wallpaper covered the walls. Dust floated through the air. It looked nothing like the modern office building he worked in. His heart began pounding. The doors remained open. For a moment he considered stepping out. Then common sense kicked in. Nope. He pressed the close button repeatedly. The doors shut. The elevator continued downward. 12, 11, 10. Ali laughed nervously. It must be some kind of electrical glitch. But something felt wrong. Very wrong. When he reached the lobby, he walked straight to the security room. There he checked the elevator camera footage. The recording showed the elevator stopping at floor 13. The doors opening. But what he saw next froze his blood. The hallway wasn't empty. A woman was standing there. Tall, pale, motionless, staring directly into the elevator. Toward him. Yet Ali hadn't seen anyone when the doors opened. The camera clearly showed her. His stomach twisted. He replayed the footage. Again, and again. Each time the woman stood there. Watching. Waiting. At exactly midnight, the security room phone rang. Ali nearly jumped from his chair. He answered. Hello. Silence. Only static. Then a whisper. A woman's voice. Come back. The line went dead. Ali immediately checked the caller ID. No number. Just blank. A cold sweat formed on his forehead. He decided to leave immediately. Grabbing his keys, he headed for the parking garage. The garage was located underground. The moment he entered, every light flickered. One by one, until only half remained lit. Darkness swallowed the corners. Ali hurried toward his car. Then he heard footsteps. Slow, deliberate. Behind him. Tap, tap, tap. He turned around. Nobody. The footsteps stopped. Ali continued walking. Tap, tap, tap. They started again. Closer this time. He spun around. Still nothing. His breathing quickened. Suddenly he noticed something in the reflection of a nearby car window. Someone was standing behind him. The pale woman. Ali whirled around. Empty. Nothing there. When he looked back at the reflection, she was gone. Ali practically ran to his car. He jumped inside and locked the doors. The engine started. Relief washed over him. Then his radio turned on by itself. Static filled the speakers. Then the same whisper. Come back to floor 13. Ali slammed the radio off. His hands shook as he sped out of the garage. The next morning, he returned to work determined to find answers. He searched old building records. After hours of digging, he discovered something shocking. 40 years earlier, the building had suffered a devastating fire during construction. Several workers died. One of them was a young woman named Sarah. According to reports, she had become trapped on a temporary 13th floor that was later removed from the final design. Most people had forgotten about the tragedy. But one detail stood out. Sarah's body was never found. That night, Ali couldn't stop thinking about it. The whisper, the hallway, the woman, everything pointed to Sarah. 3 nights later, he was working late again. At 11:59 p.m., the elevator arrived on its own. The doors opened. Empty. Waiting. The display read 13. Ali's pulse raced. This time he made a decision. He stepped inside. The doors closed. The elevator moved. Seconds later it stopped. The doors opened once more. The mysterious hallway appeared again. Long, silent, dark. Ali slowly stepped out. The air felt icy cold. The elevator doors closed behind him. Now he was alone. The hallway stretched endlessly. Old office doors lined both sides. As he walked, he noticed strange burn marks covering the walls. Black scorch marks, evidence of the long-forgotten fire. Then he heard crying, soft, painful, coming from somewhere ahead. Following the sound, Allie reached a large metal door. The crying stopped. The door slowly creaked open. Inside was a room filled with ashes. And standing in the center was Sarah. She looked exactly like the woman from the footage. Pale skin, dark eyes, white dress. She stared at him silently. Allie wanted to run, but he couldn't move. Sarah slowly raised her hand and pointed toward the floor. Confused, Allie looked down. Partially buried beneath ashes was a rusted metal box. He opened it. Inside were old documents, photographs, and a worker's ID card. Sarah's ID card, the evidence that proved she had died there. When Allie looked up again, Sarah's expression had changed. For the first time, she smiled. Not a terrifying smile, a grateful one. Then her body began fading, slowly disappearing into the darkness. The room shook violently. The walls trembled. The hallway lights exploded one after another. Allie sprinted back toward the elevator. Behind him, the entire floor seemed to collapse. He reached the elevator and slammed the button. The doors opened. He jumped inside. The elevator shot downward. When the doors finally opened, he was back in the lobby. Everything looked normal. No strange hallway. No floor 13. No Sarah. The next day, Allie handed the documents to building management. The forgotten victims were finally recognized. A memorial was placed in the lobby. And Sarah's family finally received answers after 40 years. From that night onward, nobody ever reported seeing floor 13 again. But sometimes, when employees work late, they claim they hear an elevator ding at exactly midnight. The display briefly shows 13, and for a split second, a pale woman can be seen smiling from inside. Before the doors slowly close.